but it has been crazy parody. Speaking of which, one of those teams of parody, a team with an 89 win record on the season, sixth seed
Mm-hmm.
team,
First ever six
uh,
seed.
first ever sixth seed, first ever sixth seed period uh, to even exist. Well, second. I mean, I guess there were two of them,
Two of them,
but
yeah.
yeah. But the Phillies,
One
the
of them,
the
one of the six seeds.
dude,
The other six seed got knocked out in the wild card round, though.
which is typical.
Yeah.
That's typically what happens,
Well,
unless you're
typically
the
the six seed doesn't exist, but
well,
you would expect the six seed to get knocked out in the first in
typically
the
the
wild card.
lowest seed of the playoffs doesn't usually make it past the first round,
A lot of
unless
times.
you're the Phillies or the 9-7 Giants that took down the 18-0 Patriots. Um, it happens, but man, let's talk about that one first.
No, we can talk about them
I
first. That's
know.
fine.
But let's talk about. So we're about to get into baseball if you haven't noticed, and it was a very, I'd say, very exciting championship series on both sides for different reasons.
Yeah, I'm sure that Major League Baseball would have liked for at least one of these series to get to 6 games.
Especially with the fact that they had the schedule laid out already, and we don't have a game one of the World Series until Friday.
Until Friday.
So yeah, I kind of agree, and it would have been a little bit more fun. But just the way that it went down, I actually enjoyed the hell out of that Padres Phillies series. That was fun.
It was fun. The
Like
games were
it was back and
close.
forth. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
games were good pitching, but then you had some hitting. Just like we got to talk about Bryce Harper. Obviously, he ends up getting the NLCS MVP. Dude is on fire. He's on fire. He's silencing the critics, especially after having a injury riddled year.
Mm-hmm.
It like, dude, I'm happy for him just because it's not easy to go into the bigs that young and
Yeah.
with that much on your shoulders. Like they expected so much of him when the Nationals drafted him,
Well, and like,
and
so I was watching another podcast on YouTube, and I don't want to say who it was, but they were saying that, we've known who Bryce Harper was since he was 15. He's been in the public eye since he was 15 as
right,
this
that's crazy.
phenom, baseball player. And to do what he has done, he's 30, by the way. Now, half his life he's been in the public eye for baseball. And for somebody like that was so hyped up, like he is probably the most hyped up high school baseball player ever, maybe.
Up there, definitely up there.
And for him to come to the
Because he
majors
was at the
at
peak of scouts actually looking at high school players, like the beginning of all that, really, and stuff.
but for him to have those expectations of this might be the best player in baseball when he matures, and people are saying this when he's in high school, when he's 15, 16 years old, and then to reach the majors at a super young age, it's like, oh man, okay, guys that are this hype don't usually even make the majors at this young of an age.
Right.
And then to take that and then win an MVP and be one of the best players in baseball for a stretch, and then kind of have a downturn a little bit, and then sign the big contract and go to Philly, go to a team that hasn't had a ton of success recently, and to revitalize that organization and reach the peak that he is at right now. It's unbelievable. The list of guys
I
that
agree.
are phenoms at the age that he was a phenom, your LeBron Jameses of the world, and to be able to reach that peak of being one of the best players in your sport
It's
with all
awesome.
the promise and the pressure that he's had. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Hats off, man. I mean, I'm not gonna. I mean, I guess I'll do a little a little raise of it. But dude, hats off, man. I mean, dude, we've all been watching him for so long. It,
Yeah.
like you said, the journey he took, like it, the thing that sucked the most was the year after he leaves the team that drafted him and that he went through so much with. They win the World Series.
Like, just wrap your head around this. He's 30 years old. He made his debut, his major league debut, what, 2012, 2013?
Something like that.
He's 30 right now.
Yeah, that's nuts. So he's got plenty left in the tank as long as he can stay healthy.
Yeah.
Which,
Which I want to talk about that eighth inning yesterday.
okay.
So Suarez pitches the eighth for the Padres.
Hmm.
Going in, or in the seventh, he pitches the seventh, scoreless seventh. Going into the eighth, you've got Real Muto, Harper, Castellanos, and
Is
I don't
it
remember.
Bohm after that?
I think it's might be Bohm, and then like Stott maybe, but it's 3, 4, 5 in the order, including Bryce Harper, who is the hottest hitter on the planet. You have Josh Hader, one of the best relievers in baseball, one of the most unhittable pitchers in baseball when he's on. You have him out there in the bullpen. Why don't you go to him? If you want to start the inning with Suarez, let Suarez, let him face Real Muto. Based on that at bat, then you make a decision for whether you're going to go with Hader or continue with Suarez. If he gets Real Muto and you want to let him face Harper, go ahead. You've got to be ready to come in with Hader to face the biggest part of the lineup with your season on the line.
I mean,
Lefty, lefty. Harper's. So I went and looked. Harper's OPS against lefties is like 150 points lower than his OPS against righties.
yeah,
And you've
they
got the
they
one
uh
of the
they
best
messed that
lefties
up.
in baseball out there.
Yeah, and not only that, but he's used to pitching eighth innings. He's used to
Yeah.
that. There's
Now
no
it's been a
reason
while
not
since
to.
since he's done multiple innings, so maybe he doesn't go back out there for the ninth if you do that. But you can't save him for the ninth because you have to get to the ninth.
Right.
They didn't get to the ninth.
And
They used Hader for
no.
one inning in this series,
Oh,
and
he
you know
had
what he did? He
Segura
struck out the
after.
sides. They used him for
Yeah,
one inning, and he struck out the side.
they should have. I didn't really think about that, but you're right. They should have gone to him in the eighth. I even say start the eighth.
I
I
would have
mean,
had him
maybe
start
if you
the eighth.
want righty on righty with Real Muto, but
Yeah. I would have started him. I would have had him start the eighth. That's 3, 4, 5 in their lineup. If the Phillies are going to do anything against you, it's going to be at 3, 4, 5 in the lineup. And you didn't have your best pitcher in the game. With your season on the line, like if you lose this game, it's
which,
over.
by the way, let's talk about that lineup though. Oh, we had a little.
Yeah, a little bit.
You froze for a second. Yeah, the season on the line, it's over. You said that really fast in my headset, but you're not wrong. I mean, it sucks for the Padres to come down to the way it did, but like I said, when it comes to October baseball, it's all about that magic, and Phillies got it. I told you one of those teams had it, and I guess the Phillies had it more. And
Yeah.
but but I really want to talk about that lineup. That has to be one
It's
of
deep.
the most stacked lineups we've seen in a while. And when you've got guys, well, not I mean
When they're hot. When they're
when
hot.
they're
They're
hot, but when you've got guys like Segura coming through, Bohm coming through, and Stotts coming through, you're in trouble because the rest of that lineup is what you should really be scared of. So it's just insane to see how well they're playing right now. The pitching is keeping them in the game enough for the hitting to be able to do what it needs to do. They are giving up some runs, so they're not going to be shutting out, especially the Astros. I mean, we know that, but
Yeah.
I mean, they're looking hot. They're looking really hot. So if there's any team that could maybe at least finally beat the Astros in at least one game, then it's hopefully the Phillies. But man, that was a good series though with the Padres. It was a lot of fun. Good pitching on both sides. We had a little bit of a bloody knee by Yu Darvish, which if they would have ended up winning, would have been like, oh shit.
Right.
Uh, so we had some fun in that series. It sucks for the Padres that they lost it in 5. I guess that's not what's in,
Yeah. I
but
mean, it's tough. It's so tough in these series, man. Because one tiny thing can just change everything. It just can swing an entire series. And I thought that's what happened in game 2 when the Padres came back from down 4-0 and they come back to win the game 8-5. I thought, okay, here we go. Here we
exactly.
go.
And yeah, because Philly was riding high when they were up big in that game,
Mhm.
and Padres just chipped away, and they had a big inning, and next thing you know, it's tied going to Philly.
Yeah, and they did it without the home run too, which is hard to do in the postseason.
Right. Which doesn't happen very much in this day of
No,
baseball. You
almost
got to
everything
hit home
scored
run.
off home runs.
Yeah, I want to say that I don't remember the exact numbers, but I've heard somebody talking about
It's like
if you
70%,
win the home run battle in the game, you're gonna win the game more
almost
times
every
than
time.
not. Yeah,
Almost every time.
exactly. It's literally like I think more than 70%. I think it's like 80%. Like
Yeah.
something ridiculous.
Where I thought you were going was percentage of runs that are driven in by the home run.
Oh, a lot of them, especially nowadays.
Yeah, it's a high percentage.
Yep.
But
Because even the Phillies, a lot of their run. Well, no, they in that game too, where they went up 4-0. It was just little bloops and dinkers and
oh yeah,
small baseball, and
I'd be
it just
so frustrated to be on the mound for that game.
dude, at that point, wasn't it Joe Musgrove? I think it was Joe Musgrove in that one.
Game
And
2,
I think
maybe.
so.
I don't remember. That was
Anyway,
so long
well,
ago, man.
I know, right? It was. But regardless, during that inning, I was just like, dude, that is the end of the Padres. I thought it was over. Luckily for them, it was early enough for them to actually bounce back and end up winning that game to at least give themselves a shot. But
Right.
that definitely seemed like the type of inning to end a season.
Yeah,
Just
that looked
luckily for
it
them, it
just
wasn't the 7th inning like it was for the Rangers back in, what was it, 14, 15 with the Blue Jays? Ugh.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.